Our order of questions will be Ms. Steele, followed by Ms. Bonamici. Ms. Steele, you are recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for hosting this important hearing on foreign influences within our classrooms. I'm a first-generation Korean American. I was born in Korea and raised in Japan, and I speak Korean as my first and Japanese my second, and English is my third. In my district, 41% of first generations are in the district, and out of that, 37% are first generation Asian Americans. They're very hardworking people, and they're very proud of Americans, and I love Chinese Americans. Having said that, stopping Confucius Institute and Confucius classrooms has nothing to do with racism. And Confucius classrooms have no place in the United States. Confucius classrooms are CCP's propaganda. This has nothing to do with Asian Americans, and this has nothing to do with Chinese people. And I'd love to submit for the record for a recent resolution that has unanimously approved by Orange County Board of Education. Mr. Chairman, highlighting the concerns with Confucius Institute and specifically Confucius classrooms. Orange County Board of Education working very hard for the students
Without objection, so entered into the record.
Thank you, for the parents. We cannot allow these who hate democracy and freedom to infiltrate our classrooms. And I want to ask Mrs. Neely that welcome my fellow Pepperdine graduate. I am glad that your organization has shown parents across the country how concerning that it is CCP has become embedded in our classrooms. We all are very much concerned. So my question is, more study has been done and how damaging the students in the classrooms and how stop this propaganda, the threat of allowing influenced by CCP.
How to address this? Mm-hmm. I think I'm going to quote from an old G.I. Joe cartoon, knowing is half the battle. We need to get our arms around the scope of this problem, and I think that is one of the problems. We don't know how much money is coming, we don't know where it's going, we don't know where it still exists, and so once we have that basic information, then we can start to address it. Some communities may say we don't want this altogether, other communities may say, you know what, great, we're totally all in, we don't have a problem with this. I believe that that should be up to communities and individuals, but it should not be something that is operating in the shadows without us knowing. As my colleague said, you know, many people fled China because they did not agree with that. Why then is it being pumped into their children's heads once they have come to America? They are being denied an opportunity to have their values put into their children's minds at school. And that's something that we find deeply discouraging. As to a majority of Americans, we conducted polling on this in June, and we found that a vast majority of Americans believe that, yes, absolutely, parents have a right to know what is going on. 87% of respondents who we polled felt that school districts should be required to disclose when they accept money from foreign governments, as Mr. Walters pointed out. 73% felt it was inappropriate for schools to share student data with foreign governments that fund school programs. And 73% disagree that schools should be allowed to charge tens of thousands of dollars to parents seeking information about foreign funding. When I requested documents on this from Fairfax County Public Schools, the initial estimate I was provided was over $35,000. That is appalling that a public school district would throw up a barrier like that in the name of oversight. And things like that should not happen going forward.
Well, that's the reason this education committee passed the parental rights, and they have to know what kind of propaganda that they're teaching, how they spend their money. Mr. Gonzalez, my own parents fled from North Korea from communism, and their stories have impacted me forever. Why must we work hard to protect our kids from influences that come from CCP Confucius classrooms?
Thank you, Representative Steele, for that question. And I spent 2 wonderful years in Korea as a journalist in the late 80s and early 90s, spoke passable Korean. This is a foreign political party that is totalitarian. Everywhere that communism has been tried, it has ended in tyranny with the suppression of people's rights and economic chaos. What they want to do is influence our children into believing that, no, it's a good system and China is a normal country that is not tyrannical. We cannot allow that to happen.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Thank you very much.